Hey guys, it's Robbie from Motec. It's raining outside, so we're probably not going to have much drone footage on this build, but I did want to say a few things. We're driving an early model JK with an L94, which is a Gen 4 motor. With all the talk about the Gen 5s recently, we're going to revisit these Gen 4s because they still are viable swaps, especially in the early JKs. This Jeep is going to California, and we're actually going to talk about that in an upcoming video. There's a lot of challenges today when it comes to engine conversions, not so much in some states, but very much so in other states. States like Colorado, California are doing enhanced testing with CVNs. Now there's several different approaches at doing an engine conversion. What we have always strived to do, and our mission goal has been to keep these legal, and most of you know that we have Jeep registered all around the country. The problem is the rules are changing. Different areas are stepping up enforcement and legislation, especially places like California, Colorado, Massachusetts, etc. So the way we do our conversion, we're using factory modules, calibrations, operating systems, harnesses. We're using a factory GM engine and computer production. We're not hybriding. And I'm going to talk about basically three different ways that we can do this swap. One is our way, where we use all the original powertrain components, the engine, the transmission, the modules, the harnesses, etc. Second way is going to be to use hot rod harnesses. To take that a step further, we try to use as many OE components as we can. Things like air conditioning line. Now if we look at the way some others are doing it with hand-built hot rod harnesses, hacked or patched tunes, it works. It's not the same level of OE as to what we do, but we are using a GM engine and we are using a GM transmission. Now a third way of doing it is what I call hybriding. That's where you mix and match components. So let's say you're running a GM engine and a Chrysler transmission. Unless you have a specific exemption, executive order, etc., this is just purely illegal. You can't do that. Of course you can do it, but it's not following the federal law. So you have to consider the different ways that you can approach an engine conversion. Now some ways are easier than the hard ways, but maybe the hard way is the way to do it to stay compliant. You also have to remember that you need to maintain this Jeep 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. The more OE components you have, the easier it's going to be to get parts and have it serviced. Our conversions can be serviced by a GM dealership. Because we're running the factory harnesses, wiring colors, accessories, etc., these parts are available at your local dealer. This vehicle has an LS 6.2 L94. The L94 was pretty much compliant up through 2014 in OE vehicles. There were some engines made 15, 16, even 17, especially some Holden-based engines that were still LS-based, but pretty much after 15 we went to the LT or the Gen 5 engine. These LSs are still very viable engines. Several of the variants are still available new in crate. They use the 6L80, which is one of my favorite transmissions. The prices on these held up for a while, but I think they're going to be coming down now with the propagation of the Gen 5. If you want to wheel hard, if you want to go race, King of the Hammers, Johnson Valley, whatever, the LS3 is still a good engine. I prefer the VVT motors like the L94 and the L99. I think they have better bottom end torque. I think GM has them sorted where they're reliable. I've been running dozens and dozens of these L94s and L99s, and the failure rate is almost non-existent. These engines are all aluminum, relatively high compression. They do require premium gas. However, if you put premium gas in these, they get better mileage than if you put a lower grade fuel in, so you get a little bit of it back. The bottom line is they're fun to drive. This engine's about 430 horsepower, and I'll tell you, the difference between driving this V8 JK and a V6 JK is night and day.
Yes, I was observing our very light trail driving and how dirty it already got. How you can't see anything. This is like Silent Hill up here with all this fog. This is called a hand launch. Let's see how this drone fares in the rain and the fog.